So before we began this game, I told my students the history lesson behind this game a little bit, which it's been told 1,000 times, and we're keeping the video series brief, like 5 to 10 minutes of video. We've reached the age of Fischer at this point, and I'm not somebody who studied Fischer's games deeply, so I mean, it's kind of sad to say, but we're going to be including a lot of Fischer games in the series just because he had such a profound impact on chess, and he makes everybody's top 10 list of greatest chess players of all times, not only for his dedication to the game and everything that he did, but the off-the-board things that he did. I mean, people forget that when the world champions were winning world championship matches before Fischer, it was like barely getting paid for it. Then Fischer pumped it up to an international level, and it piqued interest to the point to where we've created modern movies like Pawn Sacrifice. You got Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire playing Fischer in that movie. International acclaim. That's what Fischer did for chess, and that can't be understated. It shouldn't be forgotten that Fischer did get off the rails, but I respect Fischer for what he accomplished in chess. I don't dwell too much on the things that he did outside of it. So let's take a look at a teenage Fischer playing against Donald Byrne in a game that was called the Game of the Century. And in a 100-year period, it was the best game of chess that was played. It's nice, right? Let's go ahead and dive right in. So, the principles that we've talked about before: control the center, castle, develop all your minor pieces effectively. Everything's going smoothly, and this is a Grunfeld defense. Queen b3. And right here, already, fundamentally, this isn't my favorite type of way to face the Grunfeld. Takes, takes. Or move the queen twice, right? That's a smidge of time lost. Now, e4, knight bd7, rook d1, tickle tickle on the queen again, and queen c5. So the queen's moved 3 times in this game so far, right? We've talked about wasting time. Now bishop g4. And I want you to take a moment here and compare white and black's position. And I've said this a few times in the series so far: tactics flow from a superior position. Fischer himself said that in a quote. Fischer has the superior position. Get ready. Hold on to your butts. You're about to see. This one's one of my favorite games. So, not only has he moved his queen a number of extra times, he decides to move his bishop an extra time here. Knight a4. So, if knight takes e4, knight takes e4, and white's going to be in some deep doo-doo. Because, say, when the queen moves, I'm going to grab the knight. No matter how you take, I get the bishop. And notice how white's structure just got completely ruined. So in the game, after knight a4, he didn't take the free-looking knight. He plays queen a3. Knight takes. B takes. Give me that. So he takes a pawn. And you go, well, oh no, he must have missed something. The bishop is attacking the rook and the queen. He goes, you know what, take my rook. I just want to get my queen on a more active square. I'm going to keep attacking because let's boss this thing up. White's trying to get his king out of the center because when you're stuck in the center, bad things can happen. Knight takes c3. So Fischer's got a lot of pieces hanging. I mean, the knight could be taken. The bishop could take the rook. It's getting kind of iffy here. Like, say for instance, if he takes, I'm going to go rook e8, and I'm pinning. And this is personal analysis, so if I'm off on anything here, because this game is probably one of the most analyzed games of all time, I'm just kind of looking at it at a rapid blitz speed. So if I mess up on analysis, leave a comment and correct it. So after knight takes c3, bishop c4, white plays bishop c5, attacking the queen. All these things are being attacked. The queen, the rook, the knight on c3. It looks like Fischer's messed up, but he hasn't. Rook e8 check. King f1. White's king is now stuck. He can't castle. The rook on h1 is going to be silly the rest of the game. And now this starts one of the most brilliant combinations in chess history. This is the moment. And if, like, excellent moves in chess notation are typically given 2 exclamation points. If any move in chess deserves more than that, this one deserves 3. Bishop e6. Take my lady. She is not needed this day. And Byron goes, well, all right. Now I want you to watch the efficiency of this attack. Almost everything is forcing. Check. Gotta move. Check. With the windmill, check. 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 Now, the knight is protected by the bishop, right? So now we take the other bishop, and notice how the rook is now on an open file attacking the queen. So the queen moves attacking the knight and bishop. So Fischer doesn't play a move like b5, just defending. He plays rook a4. The knight defends the rook defends the bishop, attacks the queen, making the queen move, and you can keep attacking. See how clean this is? Oh my goodness. So queen takes b6. Oh, I lost a pawn. For a rook. h3, he's trying to get his king out. Maybe he can get his rook into the game. Rook takes. Putting pressure here. King h2. Give me that. Goes rook e1. Oh, he finally got that rook into the game on move 28. Let's trade. Check. I'll block. And pretty soon we reach a key position, and I want to prove a point to you guys because some of you are too materialistic. Knight f3, knight e4, queen b8. He's attacking the b pawn, b5. What I want you to notice in this position is that every single one of black's pieces is defended and in harmony. A queen can only be a queen if it can work on the principle of 2 weaknesses. Queen attacks 2 things at the same time. You can only defend one, you lose something. Fischer has no weaknesses. Everything is coordinated. So the queen is worthless in this position. h4. So Byron's like, well, maybe I can play h5 and maybe I've got some dreams of like opening up his pawn structure. No. Well, maybe my knight could potentially sacrifice here or here and open up the king's. No. King g1. Here comes the net. Check. 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 Checkmate. This is one of those feel-good games. Like I said, this game has been analyzed countless times, and I can't add anything. But hopefully you see this short video, you can take the enjoyment that all chess players who know how hard a game like this is to play, and understand with almost any game that we analyze, even the most brilliant minds and best players are still using the fundamental principles that we've discussed over and over. And this starts the legend of Fischer.